Because of the steps that we've taken, we no longer face the possibility of a second depression. The economy is growing again. Private sector job growth, we've seen 9 months in a row. But we still have a long way to go. We've still got a lot of work to do. I know there are people who are still hurting out there. Deval meets them and sees them every day. I see them and hear from them every day. There are families that are still hanging just by a thread. That's what keeps me awake at night. That's what keeps me fighting. That's what keeps Deval fighting. But we also know this, that the biggest mistake we can make right now is out of hurt and confusion. The worst thing we could do is to go back to the very same policies that caused this mess in the first place. The last thing we can do is go back to a philosophy that nearly destroyed our economy and decimated the middle class. And I say this not because I want to relitigate the past. It's because I don't want to relive the past. So what this election's about is not where we are right now. It's where we want to be 2 years from now, where we want to be 5 years from now, where we want to be 10 years from now, where we want to be 20 years from now. It's not just about the work we've done, it's about the work we've got left to do. It's about moving forward, not moving backwards, it's about moving forward between our doubts and our hopes. That's what's at stake right now. Look, Deval and I have a different idea about what the future holds. And it's an idea rooted in our belief about how this country was built. It's based not just on our reading of history, but our experience in our own lives. We have seen transformation in this country. And we know it didn't all come from government. We know government doesn't have all the answers to our problems. We know government should be lean and efficient. But in the words of the first Republican president, Abraham Lincoln, we also believe that government should do for the people what they cannot do better for themselves. We believe in a country that rewards hard work. We believe in a country that encourages responsibility. We believe in a country where we look after one another, where we say, I am my brother's keeper. I am my sister's keeper. That's the America we know. That's the choice in this election. We see a future that's driven by American innovation and American ingenuity. We don't want to keep giving tax breaks to corporations that ship our jobs overseas. We want to give tax breaks to companies that are creating jobs right here in Massachusetts, right here in the United States of America, to small businesses, to American manufacturers, to clean energy companies, because I don't want to see all the solar panels and wind turbines and electric cars built in Europe or in Asia. Deval and I want them built right here in America by American workers. That's the choice in this election. We see an America where every citizen has the skills and training to compete with any worker in the world. The other side might think it's a good idea to cut education by 20%. But you don't think it's a good idea. You know who else doesn't think it's a good idea? China and South Korea and Germany and India. They are boosting education spending, not cutting back. They understand that whoever is able to train their young people will be able to outcompete any other country in the world. Those countries are not playing for second place, and the United States doesn't play for second place. We play for first. That's why tens of billions of dollars in taxpayer subsidies that used to go to big banks are now going where they should, to students and to families. That's why we want to make our new college tax credit permanent, which will be worth $10,000 in tuition relief for every student in America. That's the vision we see. That's the future we want. Where the middle class is growing, where opportunity is shared, and where the only limit to your success is how hard you're willing to try. That's why we want tax cuts for the middle class permanent. That's why we'll fight the efforts of some in the other party to privatize Social Security, because as long as I'm president, nobody's going to take the retirement savings of a generation and hand it over to Wall Street. That's why we won't go back to the days when insurance companies and Wall Street banks had free rein to run roughshod over the middle class. We don't want insurance companies dropping you when you get sick, or credit card companies hitting you with hidden fees and penalties. We don't want taxpayers ever again to have to pay a bailout for Wall Street's mistakes. That's the choice in this election. That's what we're fighting for. Now, let me say this. The same special interests that would profit from the other side's agenda, they are fighting back just as hard. To win this election, they are plowing tens of millions of dollars into front groups that are running misleading negative ads all across America. They don't even have the courage to stand up and disclose their identity. They could be insurance companies, they could be banks, they could be even foreign-controlled corporations. We will never know. This is not just a threat to Democrats, this is a threat to our democracy. And the only way to fight it, the only way to match their millions of dollars, is with millions of voices who are ready to start, who are ready to finish what we started in 2008. Only you can make a difference. Only you can roll back these efforts. Look, let me say this, Massachusetts. This will be the largest get-out-the-vote operation in the history of this state, but only if you do your part. We need all of you to sign one of the cards they're handing out. We need all of you to text the letters GOTV to the number 89800. So it's on those signs. Lift one of those signs up right there. I don't even mind if you do it right now. Like I said, my staff's probably blackberrying right now in the back. They're not listening to my speech. But the reason this is important is because a lot of you got involved in 2006 and 2008 because you believed that we're in a defining moment in our history. You believe this is a time when the decisions we make about the challenges we face, they're not just going to affect us. They're going to affect the lives of our children and our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren. They'll affect the trajectory of this country for decades to come. And the reason you knocked on doors and made phone calls and waited in line to cast your vote for Deval, for me, some of you for the very first time in your lives, was because you believed that your actions could make a difference. That you could play a role in making big change. That history was not predestined, that you could shape history. Now we're in the midst of not just advocating for change, not just calling for change. We're doing the grinding, sometimes frustrating work of delivering change, inch by inch, day by day.